and welcome to another episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. And I'm your host, Dorothy Odell, for this evening. Sorry, we're starting a little bit late with Mercury retrograde. It's been messing with the internet and things like that, or StreamYard. Who knows what's happening this day and age, but we welcome you and thank you for joining us. Just want to give a quick shout out to our amazing sponsor of tonight's show, Be Oily with Bonnie, for all your doTERRA oil needs. Bonnie goes out of her way to make sure that, she has whatever oil you need at your fingertips. She has helped myself and my family out for the last year and a half with our doTERRA oils. So definitely give her a call or a text at 810-414-0929 or go to her website, www.beoilywithbonnie.com. I am super excited because this is such an amazing topic that comes up on our show. And the last time we had an expert like this on our show, the audience went wild. So super excited to have Inez Teemer to the show. Welcome so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I totally appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely. So Inez, like when people like to talk about this subject, it sparks interest everywhere, men, women alike. So you are a board clinical sexologist and certified master sexpert, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
That's a lot. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What made you decide to get into this field?
Well, I've been a licensed cosmetology teacher and a technician for maybe over 25 years. And then we had to take, in order to, renew our license, we took domestic violence, sexual violence, and things like that. And when I did this, it was like something started to come up. A lot of things. And plus with transformational work that I've been involved in, I mean, it was like, oh my God, it was like so many memories were coming up around that. And then I also feel that we weren't really fully taught about sexuality and sexology. So I was at an expo, women's expo, one year, and I met Dr. Rachel Ross, and she was on the show. She was one of the show, the doctors.
Right.
She was on, and she was living in the Midwest, and she came to the show, and it was here in Chicago, and that's how we met. And I was looking at this program, and I was taking care of my mom at the time. I was a caregiver up until she passed, and then once that happened, everything was clear. That popped in my mind. I was in a transformational course once and was like, I'm ready to take this because stuff is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talked to my clients, things were coming up. So I started that course and I was like, this is it. This is on. I love it. It's like, oh my God, it was the most amazing. I wake up every day like skinning and grinning every day because I love it. It was the most amazing course. And by her being a physician, she taught everything like anatomy and physiology, HIV, AIDS, social disease, sex and chronic illness, sex and disability. And I did not even know, like the 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 novelties, like the swings and everything. All of those were designed by therapists for people who had disability. But the erotic community took it to another realm. But I didn't even know all of this. I was like, oh my God. And when I took it, it was like there's so many women out there that really don't even know their bodies. Men don't even really know. It's because I discovered something. I said the body is an erotic playground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's one erotic playground. So, oh my God, it was like it's just amazing. It's just it and I really feel she also has Dr. Rachel Institute. That's what it's called. She also had, like if we want to, train and develop uh, the teens. I mean, because they really don't know. And like I said, if we don't know our bodies, how can your children really know your bodies? We expect the doctor to know, and women, we expect the man to know, and we don't know.
Well, I think also with that, like we expect the man to know what to do, but if we can't tell him what we like, or if he can't tell us what he likes, there's a problem, right? And so we need to be able to be open in communicating that to our partner, saying, "Hey, wait a minute, I really like when you do this, not so much when you
Yeah,
do this," right? And
right,
I
right.
love when you said the body is a playground because you know some people like to have fun with that and some people don't and and I don't know.
Yeah,
I like to have a little bit of fun, but that's without embarrassing the heck out of my husband. I won't
okay,
say too much.
okay. It's fun to explore too, I'll tell you that.
It is fun to explore. I may turn beet red by the end of the show. Look at me go.
I know.
But
Well, when we were kids, when you go to the playground, you want to try this, you want to do this, you want to do this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Your curiosity was so high. So yeah, and you went and
yes,
did it. So that's what I call it now, one erotic playground. This is how I look at you. So it's really fun. It can, you know what, it's it should be. And also there's another aspect that trauma can be relieved from it too. Especially if the partner knows, like
yeah,
have that communication with them. Because I'm not speaking of the danger of it,
mhm.
but there is, I think that there's no such thing as bad sex unless the partner just want to do what he want to do, doesn't do it the way you want it done. I mean, didn't listen. But if the two of you were in communication, total communication,
Right.
then you can see, like, oh, baby, you like it like this. And consent to me, I thought about this the other day. Consent can be so sexy. It's
Yes,
just how it's so sexy.
exactly. It
Oh,
and I love what you said about trying new things because for the most part, I believe if you should at least try it once, and if you don't like it, then that's fine. But at least be open to the idea and the possibility of something new, especially like uh, for me, I have to be in a committed relationship to have sex. But I mean, sometimes a lot of people don't have to be, and that's great. I'm not judging anybody, but I have to be trust that person and so and in order to be open to that I guess is what I'm saying and no judgment anywhere to anybody who doesn't feel that way.
well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want monogamy, that's fine. If you
Mhm.
want, if you want polyamory, I mean, I know people in that, and that's fine. It's all about consent. And
Yes.
if you are in polyamory, you know what? I always say, make sure it's consensual for both partners.
Absolutely.
Because if a man tells me, well, I can play around, but you can't, I'm like, but now I see that's dysfunction coming from
Mhm.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Because of the training I've had. And you telling me I can't do this, but you can do this? No. There is dysfunction somewhere. Something, and we've been with every other thing too that's been going on in this world, we've been indoctrinated with such crazy things, wrong information. We finding out the truth about this and finding out the truth about that.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things. Sexuality is one of them. And there's so many things that's like even spirituality. That has a lot to do with it too, because there's something called that I'm involved in called Tantra. And Tantra is a spiritual sexuality. And there's so many things that can come out of that. Even if a woman has had trauma and they practice Tantra, it can help relieve those trauma, depending on how it's done. And then you
Right.
have the right practitioner and things like that. Yeah, it can definitely do that. And I just found out too, the very first sexual violence is done to baby boys when they get circumcised because we're the only country that does. A lot of other countries you don't have to.
Hmm. I didn't
And
think of
when
that.
I was like, what? I was like, what? I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah, and that makes sense because they scream and yell and go crazy. So that is
Mhm.
the first um, violence. that manifests for them. And I was like, wow. When I heard that, I was like, wow. And there's studies on that. There's studies
Right.
on that. So I'm really going to be doing some more in-depth studies on that. But Tantra teaches that too as well. And I have friends who are Christian sexologists, and they told me, "Oh, it's in the Bible too. Here, girl, see this, see this, see this." I'm like, "All right."
I never thought of it that way because I am thinking, where else would somebody be? Well, besides rape, what would be a sexual trauma other than that? But you're right. I guess being circumcised, especially for the little boy before. Um, and then I don't know. I've heard that because they're so little, most of them don't remember it, especially if they're only like a couple days old, or when they get older, it's definitely traumatic for sure. But I guess you're right. As I guess you would experience that because we our bodies, and I didn't even know this until lately. What our bodies will, um, it's generational things. So what
Yeah,
our ancestors have gone through, we could actually, it comes into our consciousness. So, and I didn't even know that. So that's a whole level of messed up right there.
right. It's in our DNA. And when I heard that people can go through past life regressions and things like that, it's like, yeah, you can relive all those things. And actually, a baby boy can relive it if they go back and like I think it probably in hypnosis or where there's really, really in-depth counseling where they can really go back that far. And I've known people that remember in the womb. I was like, ooh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
They remember their
Wow.
mother bumping into something. I was like, what? And then their mother remembered it when they asked them about it. I was like, you gotta be kidding.
Oh wow, that would be something. Considering I don't even remember if I put deodorant on in the morning half the time, so that would be
You know what?
something.
I do believe that because my brother told me I was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around um my neck. And the thing is, I was wondering why I always had problems with my right side of my neck.
Mhm.
I always had right. And he said, "Well, and I didn't tell him this. He told me this one birthday. He said,
Right.
you had a biblical cord wrapped around your neck and you were like on the right side. And, they were trying to get you out." And I said, "Oh my God." And that's why I always have problems on the right side. I was like, what?
Wow,
I mean,
that
I didn't
is
tell him I had
amazing.
neck problems on the side or anything like that. It just came out.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I believe it does. I mean, I do. I believe that you can go back and you can actually revisit that and clear that as
Right.
well too. You can clear it. Yeah.
Right. And so, is that what you help people do? You help clear those past traumas? Is that no?
I don't do that.
Okay. So
I
tell us
don't do
how
that.
you.
No, not like that. No.
So
No, I
how
mean,
do you
I
help your
know people.
clients?
Well, it depends. It's through relationships, if they have issues with relationships. And I also like to work with women 50 plus, especially with women that feel that I don't want to date no more. These guys are not great. I always get hurt and blah, blah, blah. And when you coach them, they realize there is a common denominator with each man or each
Mhm.
or whoever they're dealing with. It's a common denominator, and then that's when you go and find out where that common denominator started.
Mm, got
And
it.
then with that, you can bust up. You can unpack and unpack and unpack, and you be like, "Oh my God, this is how it feels to be free." Yeah, and then learn to love yourself. And then I also sell novelties and things like that. And women were telling me, "Oh, well, I'd rather use this." No, baby, you use it in conjunction with.
There
That's
we go.
that's what it's for. You use it in conjunction with. And then there's also sexual wellness around that, around working with skin and but both men and women. I have products for that they can take care of themselves too. And it can be very sensual when you ask your partner to rub it on and to take care of the skin and all kind of I can make it fun.
I love it. So not only can you help them with the psychology aspect of it, then you help them with the other aspect of getting it on and
Yeah, well, I consider myself more or less like the educator too, the educator.
right,
And yeah, because you know, women, we go through so much as far as physically our bodies.
right.
Um, Childbirth and menopause and perimenopause and postmenopause and hormonal changes and all this stuff. And we need to learn basically what's going on. I mean, I do have some, gynecologists under my belt that can have conversations with them. And fortunately, in Chicago, we do have sexual wellness clinics.
Wow.
Just yeah, for women, yeah, it's real cool. And for men too, but most, they really advocate it for women. But yeah, it's really cool. And yeah, I mean, I go there. And I'm like, it's like this, like this. I know my body. I mean, hey, women, we should get mirrors and really look at ourselves. A lot of women don't even do that. This is your body. This is your you created this way.
Mhm.
Love your body. You should know.
Right.
So
That is, yeah, and I get that. And as somebody who, um, growing up, we never talked about sex. As a matter of fact, the first time I got my period, it was at my grandparents, and I was young, and like my mother had still to this day has not had the sex talk with me, and her mom gave her shit for not doing that. But it's just like she goes, well, she's got to learn. So basically, I don't know. I learned through whatever school, I guess. I don't even know how I learned.
yeah,
But it's just one of those things that I guess you pick up on this in the schoolyard. Um,
from your girlfriend,
and we're
a lot of
girlfriends.
parties.
And
Yeah.
I well, see the thing of it is I okay, so I was a very late bloomer, like very late. And I will just admit that yes, I was 29 years old when I had my first sexual experience. And yeah, which is kind of unheard of. I'm like the unicorn everywhere I go. And it was not the best experience. As a matter of fact, it was very traumatic, but it was like, okay, I got it over with, and it was just like, okay, and I waited this long for that. I was just like,
Yeah,
and it had a
I
lot to
can.
do with the partner and things like that, and yeah, better better left forgotten than to
Oh my God. Ooh,
and if
okay.
he's watching this, just saying, um, and it's
Okay.
I'm sure he probably
What
like that was so long ago. But anyways, um yeah, I have no trauma from it now. I mean, I've gotten healing from all that. But I can look back now and think, what the hell? Like seriously. And because everybody made it a big deal and I was I thought I was, I don't know, weird or different because I had not that experience until then. And I basically wanted to get it over with and see what all the fuss was about. And yeah, to me, there was no fuss.
You know what? Things have totally progressed since then, since I was a teenager, since you was a teenager. Now, um, they have sexual physical therapists for women, girls who want to engage in sex and never did, and they get their bodies right for it. They prepare them, which is great.
Mhm.
There are people here that call themselves the vaginal rehab doctor or sexual rehab doctors and or therapists here. And if you've never had it, you get prepared for
Mhm.
it. And and I mean I was like, wait a minute, where were you guys when I was
Yeah.
this is what was needed. And then it won't be traumatic for people. And see, all of this is out there. I don't know if they're teaching this in the schools or not, but I know that they're out there. My colleagues know that they're out there. Gynecologists knows that they're out there. All of them know that they're out here. And is there to prepare you. It's
Right.
prepare the teens. And now period. Now, and when you talk about your period, when you first get it, I mean, I was like, oh, you're sick. Oh my God, you're sick. It's bad. And blah blah blah. Now you don't tell them that it's bad. I mean, they got diva cups
Mm-hmm.
for the girls now and the women. So you don't tell them that because they're gonna go around thinking that it's bad and it's nasty and that's creation. That's life creation
Yeah.
there. Now,
Right.
I mean, if I had a daughter right now, I would say, look, okay, I'm gonna get you a, a therapist there that can have conversations with you. You can have pelvic floor exercises done. You can get prepared for this. I can prepare you. I know others that can prepare you, and it's nothing wrong. It's normal, and it's life creation, and it's the most beautiful thing. It's the first chakra. That's where creation for everything, your ideas, everything starts. I mean, that's what
I did
I
not know
would
that.
say. Even with the boy, the same thing. That's your first chakra. I mean, it's like this, it's creation. And then there's something for the boys too, and the men. They don't even know about semen retention, and that's another conversation right there. I mean, come on. It's learning. That's life force. Everything is life force. Everything is spiritual on that level. Because once you get on that level, you're not gonna go back to it. You're
Right.
not. Once I got
Yep.
on that level, I swear, doctor, I was once I took that course, it was over. It was over. I mean, I found out where my blockages was. I found out, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're with someone, your partner, and it's not going quite right, you find out why. And and it could be a spiritual, it could be a physical thing too. But it doesn't make them wrong.
No.
But see, the thing is, if they're not transformed and don't understand, you're not gonna get it. They're just not gonna get it.
Yeah.
But I took the time once and the spirit led me to that. I was like, wow. Because I mean, I thought I was going to retire doing all this and being an educator, beauty industry, and all of this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, now a sexologist and board certified sexologist. And uh, we just did me and two other partners, we just did the Global Sexual Health and Fitness Summit virtually. That was done every year. And then now I'm doing something where I really want to get totally involved with Chicago, but not just Chicago, but Illinois, and really get in there and just really start teaching these. I mean, these women can have amazing, amazing pleasure, and and there's a way to do that. See, they think that okay, I've been getting down doing it this way. I was like, I got another way for you too. I got another way for you too. I got another way. Okay, and I'm telling you, it's it's amazing. It is. I recommend people to really have conversations with your gynecologist, your urologist, if you're the man, and really see your options. There's a lot out there. There's nothing wrong with There's nothing wrong with well, toys or novelties, you want to call it,
Right.
because like I said, they can work in conjunction with um, and just really enjoy. I'm like, be orgasmically unstoppable. That's my motto.
I love
Be
that you said that.
unstoppable.
Yes.
Yes.
Orgasmically unstoppable. I love that. And I know in the pre-interview when we were talking, we had both come up with this tagline that healed is sexy. And
Oh,
there is nothing better than having somebody have their shit together. And I get some people come into a relationship with things, and I get that. Like and of course, the older you are, the more baggage that you've had in your life if you hadn't dealt with it. But if you deal with that, it's it gets rid of the block in the bedroom
it
or
does.
wherever you're having sex at, whether that be the car or whether that be the counter or wherever it is. Get rid of those blocks so that you could be more free with your partner. And healed is definitely sexy. That's going to be the new hashtag for 2023.
Yeah, healing is sexy. Healing is sexy. It is. And like I said, consent is sexy. Consent is so sensual. I mean, I got words that I can say, and hey, there it is. It's all over. It's all over. So I mean, you, I'm saying it's just this is an amazing, amazing ride for me, and man, I love it. I just because it's like, and I feel like I'm also clearing generational work.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm clearing that too as well. So it's great. And I mean, because I heard things that manifested, from my ancestors and things like that, stories and things like that. So I feel like this is the healing because we carry all that in our DNA. So
Absolutely.
so yeah, because once you start unpacking, you just like, wait a minute, this feels good to unpack, and you keep unpacking. I mean, I mean, the thing is, we shouldn't be afraid to unpack because it doesn't exist anymore. But that energy, that sting,
Yeah,
still exists. So
absolutely.
once you start unpacking, I mean, it lessens and lessons until it just goes away.
Yeah.
We won't get rid of the memory, but we can definitely get rid of that negative energy that's holding us on. And you know what? I heard this from a sex therapist. You know what? Sometimes we may not even remember the actual act, but we keep reenacting it to people. And I know, and you've taken this before too. We keep those same stories
Hmm.
thinking they're the truth, and they're not the truth. And we put those same stories out on the next person and the next person and the next person. We expect it to happen, and sometimes it don't happen, because we mentally think it does.
Hmm.
But then there are times we attract who we are, so we are attracting that in our life. We're attracting that in that person. We're attracting that toxicity. You
Yeah.
don't have to attract. So yeah, I mean, I strongly believe in cause and effect. So if you put that out there, you're gonna get that back. I've had people call me that did things to me. Oh, Liz, I'm so sorry. I'm like, and in my mind, you think, but I say, okay. But it's good to get clear and complete, even with your exes. I know people are like, I don't want to talk to my ex no more. I don't want to talk to that guy. I don't want to talk to that girl. It's great to unpack all of that and leave a space of love and affinity. And
Yeah.
you can create new from that. You don't have to be with that person if you don't want to be, but you can. I mean, I know people that I'm the best of friends with, and there are people that still, oh, I'm not gonna say that. But I realize another thing, it could be fear. It could be fear that's blocking them. It's not blocking me. Because I'd be like, hey, what's happening? I don't have a problem with that. But it's fear but see, I had to train. You had to train
Hmm.
the transformational works. A lot of people are not there yet.
Yeah.
And that's where I think grace comes into. Grace comes in because some people and they got a lot to unpack. And the main thing is shame and guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like you said a lot there, but the one thing that I had been doing a lot of inner healing work for the last 10 years and really a lot within the last year and a half. And one of my she's my holistic doctor. She said to me, I feel that you're still carrying, because I was in a verbally and mentally abusive relationship prior to my husband, and she goes, it still feels like you're carrying some of that into this relationship. So once I identified that, I was like, okay, well, let's get rid of this because I don't want to carry that into this relationship. um and like you said before, like I think we think we're okay, but then if you don't properly do what's necessary to get healed from those traumas, then it will definitely show up in
Other relationships, yeah.
other relationships. Yes, right.
It definitely will. It definitely will. And then you'll see why you keep attracting the same thing over and over again. Because you do attract the same thing over and over again. But sometimes you don't, but you think you do. And I
Hmm.
mean, I even know men like that. I know men, they say, oh no, you like this, you like this. She's like this, she like this, I'm like, dude, Where's this coming from? I mean, and then once I mean, I don't say it like that, but I'm thinking like some
Yeah.
of my male friends, we get into conversations and then they find out, they like, oh.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. Sometimes it go all the way back to the mama, mother, than the daddy.
Hmm.
And I let them know, yeah. I mean, it's like that. So that's still some unresolved issues. But once that's taken care of, it's so freeing. I mean, my God, it is the most freeing feel. You're like, oh, why didn't I do this sooner?
Right.
Like, I mean, we say that all the time. Why didn't I do this sooner?
Well, because we're afraid of what our partner's going to say and how they're going to react. And not all partners are receptive to healing because they don't know about it. Like you could be on a totally different journey with your spouse than they're at, and they don't even know what that means, right? So I think for some of us, that's where it comes from. Like, okay, yeah, if I heal my shit, it's what's going to happen after that. Like, how is that going to change if they're not willing to heal theirs?
Right.
So,
Right.
I,
It's like where are going to leave me? And they may feel, but to me, you know what? That's not the right person. Or either you're evolving and they should evolve with you and not just say it, be it.
yes, yes.
Be it. And because I know people that do that all the time. I ask, I'm like this, but when I get you and you're not, then I'm like, well, then why did you tell me this? And then yeah. So they have to be about it. I mean, you'll see it in action all the time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
Well, Inez, I can't believe it's been past 30 minets already. Like, wow, this has
Oh,
been an
wow.
amazing conversation.
Oh, we gotta do a part two, girl.
We're gonna have to have
We
you
gotta
come
do
back,
a part two.
and we're gonna have to do a part two. We're gonna have to you come back. But where, in the meantime, where is the best place that you would love people to connect with you?
Well, you can connect with me. I got a website, inezteemer.com. It's INEZTEEMER.com. I'm also on Instagram at Afrocentric Tantra Shy, which is CHI, and that's on Instagram as well. Those
Perfect.
two places you can reach me. I do have a Facebook page, but that's like my regular page. But you can send me messages. Inez Teemer. I'm on Facebook too. But yeah, it's so much is happening. I also because now they're allowing us to take insurance, and I'm really looking into that and finding out I can take Medicare and Medicaid, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't know this. They're opening that up for all of us. I was like, okay,
That's awesome. Yes. Oh
yeah,
my gosh. It's about time the world gets more free and more open and receptive to transformation. Because that's what this
yeah.
is. Once you get healed, and healing is sexy, then there's transformation and allowing yourself to be open to more possibilities.
Oh, and you know what? This is what I heard. Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith said, "Give possibility a chance." So when you do that, I realize then it turns to certainty.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. Give it a chance. I mean, we envision possibilities all the time, but give it a chance, and then
Yeah.
you can turn it around, and it builds it's certainty. You have it. So go for it and be orgasmically unstoppable. Be loving. Have affinity for people. Get clear and complete with people. Please get clear. Get clear and create new. Even if that other person doesn't want to do it, you do it.
Yes.
You do it. Because that's your transformation and your transmutation. Getting deeper. That's yours. This is your life. I'm sorry, even if your partner doesn't agree, do it anyway, because this is for you. This is all about love and affinity, having the spirit to just be free.
I love that. Be clear and complete. I love that. Damn, that's a lot of nuggets on the show. So thank you so much, Inez, for joining us today. This has definitely been eye-opening and transformational in a lot of different areas, a lot of different things that I didn't know. So thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you to all our listeners now, and for those of you that will be on the replay. Don't forget. Don't forget to go check out our sponsor, Be Oily with Bonnie. Give her a call or a text at 810-414-0929 for all your essential oil needs, or go to her website at www.beoilywithbonnie.com. The MetaPower that they have there, that MetaPower system is really amazing. I've actually used the oils myself and had some definitely some success with that. So get a hold of Bonnie and she will hook you up with the proper oils that you need. And thank you so much, Inez, for joining us today.
Yeah.
And we will have to have you come back and definitely do a part 2.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe even a part 3. You never know, girl. There's so much out here. It's hey, I love it. I'm enjoying the ride, girl. The sexual ride. Let's do this.
Enjoying the sexual ride and being unstoppably orgasmic. Oh, I love
Being
that.
orgasmically unstoppable.
Yes. All right, folks. Same time, same channel next week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.